Welcome to Climb English. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us on this journey to master English through stories. Today's story isn't just about words, it's about connection, misunderstanding, and growth. So sit back, listen closely, and let the language come to life. Are you ready? Let's begin. My name is Anna. I'm 20 years old, and I study English literature at Brook Hill University. It's my second year here, and most days I feel like I'm finally starting to understand who I am. I love reading, writing, and slowly, very slowly, getting better at speaking English with confidence. My roommate says I dream in English now. I laugh when she says that, but maybe she's right. Life here is busy, but I like it. I have good friends, warm coffee, and a notebook filled with half-written poems. And until recently, I thought I had everything under control. Then came Ben. He's also 20, studies in the same department, and somehow manages to be everywhere I go. Tall, confident, always surrounded by people. He speaks English like he was born with a dictionary in his hand. Everyone seems to like him. They say he's clever, funny, easy to talk to, but I didn't see it that way. To me, he was loud, full of himself, and always trying to prove something. The first time we spoke, I had just finished giving a presentation about Shakespeare and modern language. I was nervous, but proud, until Ben raised his hand and said, "Not bad, but maybe next time try not to sound like you're reading a bedtime story." The class laughed. I didn't. I smiled, the kind of smile that hides sharp thoughts. "Maybe next time try not to talk just to hear your own voice," I said. And just like that, the war began. A few weeks later, during our English communication class, our professor made an announcement that changed everything. For the midterm project, he said, "You'll be working in pairs." The class groaned. I felt uneasy. Then he read the names. Anna and Ben. My head snapped up. "No," I said before I could stop myself. "No," Ben said at the exact same time. The room burst into laughter. The professor didn't blink. "Perfect. You two clearly need more conversation practice." At first, we couldn't agree on anything. I wanted to do a presentation on how language shapes identity. Ben wanted to analyze accents in international movies. We argued for hours about themes, tone, even font sizes. It felt like trying to swim with rocks tied to my feet. I told Olivia, my roommate, that I'd rather do the whole thing alone. Why does he always have to be so Ben? But then, one night, just as I was about to rewrite the outline alone, I got a message from him. "Your idea's better," it said. "Let's go with it." I stared at my screen, surprised. That was the first time he didn't try to win. After that message, something shifted. We started working together. Really working. Not just tolerating each other. Ben showed up on time, brought notes, asked questions. He still teased me sometimes, but it felt different. Less sharp. More playful. During one study session at the library, I caught him reading one of my favorite poetry books. "Trying to impress me?" I joked. He shrugged. "Trying to understand you." I didn't know what to say to that. We began grabbing coffee after class. Sometimes just to talk, sometimes to brainstorm. He told me about his grandfather who used to teach English in a small town. I shared how I'd grown up terrified of speaking in public and how I'd write little monologues in my diary just to practice. He listened. Really listened. And when I stumbled on a word or hesitated mid-sentence, he didn't laugh. He waited. One evening, while walking back from the library, he looked at me and said, "You know, you speak English beautifully. You just don't believe it yet." And in that moment, something inside me softened. Maybe I was starting to believe it too. Just when everything started to feel easy, natural even, it all fell apart. One morning, as I was walking across campus, I spotted Ben near the library steps talking to a girl I'd never seen before. She was laughing, and then without warning, she hugged him. He hugged her back. Not a quick, casual hug, a long one. My steps slowed. I watched, frozen, the warm feeling from the night before slipping away like sand through fingers. I didn't ask. I didn't say anything. I just stopped replying to his messages. In class, I sat further away. During meetings, I kept my answers short and my eyes elsewhere. He noticed. One afternoon, he stopped me outside the lecture hall. "Anna, what's going on?" he asked. I looked him straight in the eye. "Ask your girlfriend," I said, and walked away. He looked stunned. Confused, even. But I didn't care. Or at least, I told myself I didn't. That night, Olivia asked why I was being so cold. "Because I was stupid," I said. "Because I actually thought maybe he liked me." I laughed, but it came out wrong. Bitter. Hollow. Just like the space Ben had left behind. The day of the presentation arrived, and we hadn't spoken in almost a week. We stood on stage, side by side, but miles apart. Our voices were steady, our facts were clear, but the warmth was gone. When it ended and the applause came, it felt distant, like it wasn't meant for us. Still, we won first prize. After the event, I went to the garden behind the auditorium, needing space. That's when Ben found me. "She's my cousin," he said, quietly. "Her name's Nina. She came to visit for the weekend." I blinked. "What?" "I didn't know I had to explain," he added. My cheeks burned. I looked away, embarrassed. "You could have just told me. You could have just asked," he said. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he smiled. "Do you still hate me?" I sighed. "Maybe, just a little less now." After that day, things changed between us. We weren't just partners or classmates anymore. We were something more. We still tease each other, still argued over grammar rules and font sizes. But now there was laughter between the lines. He'd wait for me outside class. I'd save him a seat in the library. We started sharing more. Music, stories, favorite quotes. He showed me how to pronounce certain tricky English words, and I helped him with his writing assignments. It wasn't about perfection anymore. It was about learning together. One evening, we sat on the library's steps, eating cheap sandwiches and watching the sunset. He turned to me and said, "I used to think English was just a subject, but now it feels like a language that led me to you." I smiled, heart warm, a little dizzy. "I used to think you were just annoying, but now you're slightly less annoying." He laughed and reached for my hand. It was a small gesture, but it felt like a promise. And for the first time, I stopped being scared of what this was becoming, because it felt real, because it felt right. In our final year, everything sped up. Ben was elected president of the English Club. I became editor of the college magazine. We were proud of each other, but somehow we were always busy. Coffee dates turned into quick nods in the hallway. Late-night phone calls became short good-night texts. I missed him, but I didn't want to seem clingy. He missed me too, but he didn't know how to say it. One night, he texted me, "I feel like I'm losing you." I stared at the screen for a long time. Finally, I replied, "I feel the same." We decided to take a weekend trip, just the two of us. At first, it was perfect. Laughing, talking, watching the lake shimmer under the setting sun. But sometimes, when things build up for too long, they burst. Over dinner, he asked, "Do you even have time for us anymore?" I snapped. "You're the one always at meetings and events. Maybe your club means more to you than I do." His face shifted, hurt. "That's not fair, Anna." I looked away. "Nothing feels fair anymore." He sat down on the grass. "So, do you want to break up?" I didn't answer because I didn't know. After that weekend, something went quiet between us. Not just silence, but distance. We still shared classes, still walked the same hallways, but it felt like a door had closed, and neither of us knew how to knock again. Olivia asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. Ben's friend messaged me once. "He's miserable. Just talk to him." But I didn't. My pride wouldn't let me. His didn't either. Then one night, it rained. Hard. I stayed late at the library finishing the final layout for the magazine. By the time I stepped outside, campus was soaked and empty. My phone battery was at 2%, no cabs in sight. I stood under the weak light near the gate, clutching my bag, cold and tired. That's when I saw headlights. Ben's car pulled up. He stepped out, holding an umbrella, hair damp, eyes searching. "Get in," he said. I didn't argue. Halfway to my dorm, I whispered, "Why are you here?" He kept his eyes on the road. "Jake told me you were alone. I didn't want you stuck in the storm." My throat tightened. "You didn't have to." He glanced at me. "I always have to." We didn't speak for a while after the car stopped. The rain tapped gently on the windows. I looked at him and said, "I'm sorry. I pushed you away because I was scared. Scared of how much I cared." He let out a breath. "I'm sorry too. I got so busy proving something to everyone else, I forgot what really mattered." We sat there, holding hands like it was the first time all over again. Since then, we've been learning about each other, about ourselves, about love. And strangely, about English, too. Not just words and grammar, but the way we communicate, the way we listen, the way we choose to understand, even when it's hard. Love, like language, only grows when you keep practicing. Now, when I think about how it all began with eye rolls, sarcasm, and misunderstandings, I smile. Because sometimes the person who challenges you the most helps you grow the most. In love, in life, and in language. So keep learning, keep listening, and never be afraid to speak your heart, even if the words aren't perfect. If you liked this story, leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. Your English journey starts here.